RSL Nation! Welcome back!
Woo! Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back.
You know what I've realized? I never actually started off introducing ourselves. I just
Oh,
assumed like everyone just knows who I am and what
They
my
got it. Everybody knows our voices by now. No, I'm joking. No, they don't.
yeah. I mean, so I guess welcome everyone. Alan, Marcos, Christian. Um,
what
that's
it
the
do?
three
What
of
it
us.
do?
That's
Another day, another day.
another day, another dollar.
Talking soccer. That's what we
Get
do.
at our wait. You're getting paid?
Getting paid with this green screen behind me. That's what it is.
No, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Um, guys, this is gonna be another great one. Like I always say, these are all great. I mean, it's great when I talk soccer with you guys. So let's
Yeah,
just
even though we're on a 2 week bye, we still got soccer to talk about.
it's it's true, it's true. And
Best
by
sport
the
in the
way,
world doesn't slow down.
it's best sport doesn't slow down. By the way, guys, I just wanted to say welcome to you guys for I think, in my opinion, the best fan based podcast not sponsored by a news agency.
Woo!
We're
Woo!
independent, suckers.
Independent. We're like BYU football when it was not in a conference.
Well,
No, no, no.
we're Notre Dame.
We're Notre Dame.
Hey!
Yay!
Oh my
There,
god, you guys are
there we go.
funny.
We're the Notre Dame of soccer podcast, everybody.
That's so funny. You guys are funny. All right, so we have a lot to go over. We had mentioned, tweeted, Instagram that we're gonna have a new segment of our show. So we're gonna do our new segment, but let me introduce the other topics as well. So after our debatable questions, we do want to talk U.S. soccer. We are gonna talk about it. We're gonna give our opinions, and you guys all know how deeply we feel about our opinions. I mean, mine, Marx's, Christians, of course.
Mm.
We're all different in a sense. Um, After we get over our U.S. soccer issues, we'll call them, we're gonna dive right back into RSL because RSL soccer is back.
Woo!
Thank Kevin's because not gonna lie, these 2 weeks have felt like a long time. I don't know about you guys.
Oh my gosh, so long.
Friendlies every day, which is good, but I'm like, I want to go back to actual.
They haven't all been good.
Yeah, I want games that actually matter.
Well, you will have games that matter. In fact, Christian sent in the group chat the schedule, or no, you sent it in an Instagram where we have
This is
soccer all day.
all day.
You got Euros, Copa, and then MLS in the evening.
Oh yeah, the weekends at least.
What a
Weekends, yep.
what a beautiful
Th-
summer.
this
It's
year,
scorching hot. It is
yeah,
scorching hot, but we get a lot of soccer. I'll take the trade
It's a
off.
good time to be a soccer fan.
yeah, I'm down with it. Okay, let's get into these debatable questions.
Okay.
I need like a theme song. Debatable.
Debatable questions.
What's
I,
that
I don't know.
time?
I don't know why
It's
we're.
question
That's like going to be very
time.
similar. Okay, guys. We appreciate those that participated. So we're gonna actually discuss two different questions. Okay, two questions for today. First one, and we'll go. Um, Christian, will have you answer first, and then Marcos, and then the second
Mm,
question reversed. Here we
okay.
go. Who would you rather have miss games due to injury, international call-up, etc.? Anelli or Ojeda?
Hmm.
Ooh, that's a
Ah,
good question. Thank
interesting.
you to
Interesting.
whoever sent that in.
Yeah,
Man, you just set the bar high.
Hmm.
I know. I probably should have started with the other question, but the other question is also on the same level.
Um, I would say Ojeda.
You'd rather leave off Ojeda.
I
Give me a reason.
I think well here's the good part about this question. We have a deep enough midfield that we can adjust pretty well. Now,
Hmm.
we we take off Ojeda, we slide Anelli into Ojeda's place, and then we can bring on Crooks.
Assuming Crooks is already on the field, who else would you put?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me
There
pull up.
is it. I think that's what the thought of this question was
Yeah,
because
yeah, 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 yeah,
assuming
yeah.
Crooks was already the attacking mid.
So if that's the case, if we had to sorry, I'm just pulling up our last lineup. I mean, assuming Arango's back up front,
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, that is a good question. Squad.
Right.
Squad.
That's what I'm saying. Our defensive midfielder.
Palacio.
Yeah, I think that might have been the only
Yeah.
answer. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Marcos, what do you think?
Like I want to disagree with Christian, but I'm kind of right on board. Like,
Well,
but
disagree then.
No. It's just mainly for the fact that Anelli is up and coming. We see what he did in his first season, and now to this season, he's very much impressed in his goal and assists. Whereas Ojeda, he's still a solid player, but he's very MIA on his. He's a silent killer. Only one assist so far. Very solid, controlling that defensive mid spot. But I'd rather have an Anelli as a solid starter all the time. Whereas, I'm sorry, Ojeda. I'd have to cut Ojeda.
Huh.
Gio Reyna should watch Anelli play.
I mean, there's some truth to that. Guys, I would.
Like, it definitely seems like Anelli has been taking classes from Pablo Ruiz a lot in his attacking and being a solid defensive midfielder.
Yeah, so I would. In fact, I'm going to be the breaker here. I'm going to take Marcos' side. I would keep Anelli on the field and remove Ojeda only because of the. I feel like there's more offensive power from Anelli, and there seems to be more drive, more motivation. It's not saying that Ojeda is not motivated because he's playing lights out this season.
Yeah.
Just I feel like there's some bite to Anelli that Ojeda might be lacking, which is perfectly fine. We definitely need yin and yang. We need someone that's going to be the enforcer and someone that's going to be more of a playmaker.
And we've mentioned in past episodes before where Ojeda, he hasn't been afraid to take those shots at the top of the box, which we like to see. And same with Anelli, but Anelli just brings more of that attacking force, which pairs well with Chicho and Gomez.
All right. Well, that was. I'm going to be still thinking about that one for a minute.
Don't get me wrong. That's a phenomenal question.
Like, whoever asked that, good job, because RSL's midfield, RSL's bench is deep. And yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go question 2. Marcos, this one's coming at you first. What is the best strategy for keeping wins high with McMath, but still giving Beavers chances to develop in the game?
It's a good question. Man, 2 solid questions, guys. Like, obviously Beavers is going to be the face of this team and hope maybe next year or in a couple of years to come. Who knows? But I for one would want to see what we've seen already this season. Maybe switch off. Maybe Beavers is that midweek keeper. And personally, I want to see Beavers maybe be our keeper for Leagues Cup against Atlas, against Houston, or however far we go in the tournament, just to get that progression, get more experience and playing time. Because I feel like that will help him a lot, get that confidence that he needs.
Interesting. Christian, how do we keep wins high with McMath but still developing Beavers?
I think a lot of it does. It's gonna, honestly, it comes down to the rest of the players on the field, in my opinion. Our team needs to still be delivering the high octane offense that it's been doing, and what that does is that it will build McMath's confidence again. I mean, not saying he's not confident right now, but I'm sure there's been a little bit of a lapse. And then when Beavers is on the field, he'll have that same reassurance that he's got the team in front of him that's going to perform at the high level. And high octane offense, and honestly, high octane defense as well. A defense that will listen to him and support him at the same time, rather than one that gets caught flat-footed.
Interesting. And obviously these are all our opinions, but I don't think that I don't think there's a good enough balance to be able to keep developing Beavers at the high level that he knows he can perform at, while still keeping McMath as a starter and still getting wins. It's a balance that I don't think we're going to be able to achieve with how we're doing it right now. I think Beavers, if he's still on the bench by the end of the season or more on the bench, I think we're either going to be selling him for a lot of money because he's a talented keeper, especially with his performances this past week with the U19 team.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, with how well he did against Argentina, yes, Argentina's not the greatest of younger squads, but do you think that would impress Pablo and his staff to maybe have Beavers be that main guy more instead of McMath?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think he did what was expected of him to do. Nothing out of the ordinary for him, which is a good thing because that's delivering at a high level.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So going back to this question, I don't see Beavers developing in the way that we all want him to develop, game ready, while still trying to keep McMath and keeping wins on the team. I think it's either you put in Beavers, risk wins if you think it's a risk, or you keep him on the bench and try to keep winning with McMath in goal. They both bring their own set of skills. For me, they're sixes. They're both present risks. They're not the best keepers in the league, but Beavers has more potential than what McMath has because of age. That's it.
If I'm Pablo, what I would do, just taking a look at the depth chart on the keeper, within the next season or two, we can convince Beavers to stay around Beavers number 1 in goal, followed by McMath backup and unload Gomez for another keeper to develop.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we haven't had a shortage of keepers. In fact, I'll even slide in a third question in here because it has something to do with this. Someone put, should have never let Ochoa go.
I'll have to agree with that one. I have to agree with that one because, yeah, Ochoa was great. He was phenomenal in 2021 in that PKs against Seattle did outstanding. But I feel like Beavers is kind of, I guess, turning into what we thought Ochoa was going to be.
I don't know. This one's going to be.
So I disagree. I think it was a smart decision to unload. Was it painful at the time? Sure. But looking at it now, I think he would have caused more of a problem for this team than not. Someone who, a good keeper, undoubtedly talented, but thought too highly of himself in the moment and saw where he could end up and thought he got there sooner than he did.
Well, and not only that, going on those lines, he was, like you said, he thought pretty highly of himself, so much so that he thought he should have been a lot higher in the goalkeeping rankings for the U.S. team, that he switched over to Mexico because he thought he could get a better spot over in Mexico.
I mean, to be fair, Mexico does not do a good job with rotating their goalies. So,
yeah.
Sorry, Memo Ochoa.
Yeah.
As he does not get called up for Copa America, unfortunately.
Yeah. Mexico's a disaster.
Yeah.
But well, those questions were pretty heavy. We'll have to
keep it coming every week, you guys. Those are solid.
Yeah. I'm left thinking for the rest of the week until next episode. Flip.
Right.
All right. Well, let's switch gears here. We mentioned a little bit about U.S. national team, so now we're going to get into it. The U.S. national team played against Colombia, lost 5-1. This was a pretty hard blow, I think, to this national team, to what the thought was before this game. So I'm gonna let you guys spill out your guys' opinions here. So Christian, we'll start off with you. What was your feeling before this game of how the U.S. was going to perform against Colombia? What were your expectations?
Honestly, I was scared because historically, if you could pick one South American country that the U.S. has struggled against consistently, it's going to be Colombia.
Okay.
There's something about the Colombian style of play and their strategy that walks all over us. I had the opportunity to see them in the last Copa America that was played in the United States back in 2016, 2015.
Yeah.
16, yeah. That was the opening match of the tournament. U.S. lost 2-0 that game. I was there in California for that game, and I just had the same feeling. The thing is about this Colombia team, all credit to them. They are up and coming. They are rising through the ranks as they should be. They've got a young, exciting, confident team. And then you meet that against a U.S. team that's a good U.S. team. We've got good players, not well coached. And since there's no coaching, the coaching is not good. There's no identity behind the ball. What style of ball are they playing? Greg Berhalter ball, which is
That's its own identity. It's a family-friendly show.
it's not good. Greg Berhalter might have been honestly better suited to maybe lead an Olympic team.
We won Jesse Marsh.
Too late.
I think Jesse Marsh is finding out the realities of international soccer very quickly, and I think he'll recover. I do think he will do that. But this U.S. team was caught on its back foot. It was, and didn't play with confidence. Passing was poor. Did not take opportunities to shoot. Colombia shut down Christian Pulisic, which was smart on their end because he is our best player, and
Yeah.
honestly, he's probably better than most of the players on Colombia. But just because you're one of the best players on the field, you can still strategize and shut them down.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So-
I mean, teams do it all the time against Messi. So, I mean, it happens. Margos, your thoughts before this game happened?
Like, yeah, Colombia very young. They have experienced players in James Rodriguez, but I was very impressed right away from Diaz on that left midfield spot. He was having a heyday of a time going against Scally. Scally could not keep up at all with Diaz. Several good chances by Diaz. But right when it was 2-0, I was like, I don't see US getting back in this game. And of course they didn't, but it was just like Colombia just controlling that whole first half into the second half, of course, but Pulisic was just getting frustrated. He wanted calls just going his way, nothing going his way. And this just shows you that Colombia has depth on that bench, whereas US doesn't really have depth. Like, you look at who the US has on their bench, like they had Pepe, they had Musa, they have Tillman and other key players who didn't play. But are those like the answers that the US are going to need going against Colombia, going against obviously Brazil tonight, going against Uruguay in their group? I don't really think so.
Now, I'm going to throw out a little plug here for River Plate because we are all River Plate fans here. Just so you guys know, you had Santos Borre, who played for River, who helped them win the 2018 Libertadores. Great guy. James Rodriguez played for River. Did you guys know that?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Jorge Carrascal.
That one I did not know.
Yes, he played for them for 2 seasons, and then we sold him off to Russia. Juanfer Quintero. Okay, that you're looking at 4 players right there that played in the game. How many goal? What do they call them?
Goal and assist.
Yeah, goal and assist, goal contribution. There we are, goal contribution. So we have Santos Borré scored, Carrascal scored, and Quintero had
two assists. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the effect that River Plate has on Colombia. Not to mention that Borja was on the bench as well, and Borja is the leading goal scorer for River Plate right now. Yeah. For those that don't know much about the Colombian team, these players have experience and are successful where they're playing at. Now, because Christian, you mentioned the 2016 Copa America, I'm just this thought just came to my head, and I was looking up while you guys were talking. This U.S. team, this starting lineup was special. Do you guys know why? Why was this starting lineup special?
Of the 2016 team?
No, of this game.
Of this game?
Because it was the first non-MLS inclusive
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
Yes. So, now, is this team, if you guys are looking on FOTMob, is this lineup that we put out on Saturday better than the lineup that went out in 2016 against Colombia?
I'm going to say no.
Well, I'm gonna read you off the names. Do you want me to read you off the names?
Read me off the names.
I'm gonna start from back to front.
Okay.
Brad Guzman. Brad Guzman, Guzan. Then you had Fabian Johnson. You had John Anthony Brooks, Cameron, Yedlin, backline. Midfield, Bedoya, Bradley, Jermaine Jones. Forwards, Jossie, Dempsey, Wood.
I wouldn't say the entire 2016 lineup is better. I would say
There are
different
elements.
there's different players that are better.
I'm just saying, I would have taken the 16. This 16 team would have beat this Colombia team.
You think so?
But the 16 team couldn't even beat the 16 Colombia team.
They lost 2-0 that game.
And that Colombia team was weaker than this one.
So that's an issue. How do you justify the 2016 U.S. team could beat the 2024 Colombia team?
The only thing I can think of is coaching.
It's true. I would take 2016 John Brooks over 2024 Chris Richards. I'm sorry, that was not a good center back to say.
Oh yeah, and I would take Josie Altidore any day over.
I didn't say Altidore.
No.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, over Balogun, because Balogun and Pulisic were kind of yes, Balogun had the assist, but Pulisic was just very MIA and just wasn't very in an attacking mindset.
By the way, Pulisic did play that 2016 game
on the bench.
He came in the 66th minute.
Yeah,
interesting. So,
he's
got
a bone to pick with Colombia.
If he's losing, in fact, speaking of bones to pick,
they have the possibility to meet up again in the eliminatorias of the Copa America.
Question for Christian: you obviously put USA playing Argentina. With this result, do you change your bracket at all?
I can't. It won't let me change my bracket.
Are you kidding me?
You can.
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
I'll have to reevaluate. I'll have to reevaluate it.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could.
Because
I'll have to reevaluate it.
I changed mine.
So I did undervalue Colombia. I don't think I'm necessarily undervaluing the U.S., but I need the U.S. to prove to me that they're not being sorry, I didn't overvalue the U.S., but I need the U.S. to prove to me that I didn't overvalue them. They've got a couple of easy games to start the Copa America in Bolivia. Bolivia should be a gimme. Panama will be tougher, but they should still win. Right, and then Uruguay, that's a different story.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw shouting out to another podcast, that's a slightly larger one. State of the Union with Alexi.
They're barely more popular than us.
Just barely. I've been on it before. It's fine. I did a call in actually, and I was on air. It was cool.
Heck yeah.
And his co-host predicted Uruguay to win the whole thing to beat Argentina in the final.
Interesting.
That one's not. Yeah. I mean, Uruguay's good, but not that.
And I think he's Brazilian or Portuguese, which was curious for him to pick.
Well, because everyone hates Argentina, so any chance that they can to give Argentina a knock.
No, for me, after this result of Colombia just dropping the Thor's hammer on USA, for my championship I had Argentina, Brazil. I was like, no, I'm gonna go Argentina, Colombia in the final, because I think Colombia is gonna get first now after the beating that they just did. So,
it's funny on this FOP mob. They how they always do a poll before the game on who will win. 56% said that the U.S. was going to win.
Honestly, but before that match, wouldn't we have all said, yeah, that's a plausible result?
Well, and that's where I want to get at too, because for me personally, I would say no. I didn't expect the U.S. to win at all, but it could be because I don't want to say I'm more educated. That sounds really arrogant.
You're biased.
But I am. I mean, I'm trying to keep it as neutral as possible. But it seems that what you were saying, people were undervaluing Colombia, and I think because we're not familiar with the players that were on the field. And I think that's to the downfall of the normal U.S. fan, because I think that during these cups, especially Copa America, I think because a lot of fans don't pay attention to South American ball, I think that's our downfall. That's why we think we're going to get to the semis and the finals. If you're unfamiliar with those leagues, then yeah, I I don't blame them for thinking that, because we see all our guys, just like we just mentioned, the starting 11 came directly from Europe, all of them. I mean, we have European guys. Why do we have to worry about Ecuador? Why do we have to worry about Colombia? Why do we have to worry about Chile? Well, guess what?
We should.
I was like, they still have talented players as well. There's no reason to be thinking that it's an easy cakewalk.
Just because they play in Europe, for me, that doesn't mean jack. Especially from the leagues that we've been watching. When we watch Copa Libertadores, Suramericana, when we watch any of those leagues, I see different.
We forget that a lot of the top 10 leagues in the world are in South America as well. Now, I mean, obviously Europe has the best leagues in the world. South America is the region with the second best leagues, with North America arguably having the third best region in the world. I would say MLS has improved a lot and could be considered top 15 league in the world.
I would consider them top 10. I wouldn't mind
10.
saying top 10.
Yeah, they're about top 10.
But that being said, America does kind of have at times a closed-minded view. And like you said, doesn't recognize that, South America is full of a lot of really good players. And I think our players might have forgotten that as well, because they're used to going to Europe. And look at the seasons that our players had. Christian Pulisic was the best midfielder in Italy, which is not a small feat. Wes McKinney had a good year. And Gio Reyna kind of got screwed over in coaching because he's a good player, but coaches don't like him. Yeah. Tim Ream just came off a fantastic season with Fulham. I mean, same with Anthony Robinson. And you've got all these players that are coming off of really good seasons, and they forget that so did everybody else.
Exactly.
And this is and I hope for this U.S. team it's a wake-up call, and that at least they give Brazil a good fight. Because honestly, that's what Mexico did. I will give credit to Mexico. They had Brazil 2-2 up until the end, where they let a final goal in.
But it was Brazil's like B or C team.
Yeah, so there are asterisks, but yes, I mean they tried to fight back. Now, I think what most U.S. fans, I think personally, are forgetting is that World Cup history, if we're going to talk about the most successful countries and the most successful regions, South America alone has, 10 World Cup wins, 5 being Brazil, 3 Argentina, 2 Uruguay. Compared to...
Somebody watched the Messi interview today.
Someone watched the just saying. But compared to Europe's, you have 4 from Germany, 4 from Italy, so that's 8, 2 from France, that's 10, and then 1 from England, 1 from Spain, so that's 12. So out of the 22 World Cups, almost half of them are coming from 3 countries, and those 3 are from South America.
Not bad. That's not too shabby.
For having a region that only has 9 teams.
And Messi, just quick, I mean, this is related to the topic, talking about Messi's interview with ESPN. I think he realizes what the U.S. didn't as well. And everyone's like, because Kylian Mbappe was like, oh yeah, the Euros are harder than the World Cup, and Messi is like, no.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we get into our CONCACAF mind that like, oh yeah, you guys never had to play in Central America where it's like really hot and humid, the fans are really, really tough, and the field is really crap. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all never played in Venezuela, Colombia,
altitude up there in Bolivia.
Altitude in Bolivia going 12,000 feet up. I mean, it's like
it's high.
It's high. You know, it's high. Did you ever get sick?
Just bloody noses.
Oh,
just a typical bloody nose.
but I think that's what's really lacking with the U.S. fan is just an awareness, international awareness Not saying that it happens to everyone. I bet you the majority of fans know these things, but they want to have a lot of hope and faith in their team. I tend to be more of on the pessimistic side of that scale, to my demise, right, Christian?
Yep.
But yeah. So with the team that the U.S. are fielding right now against Brazil, I need you guys' thoughts on that lineup right now, because obviously we're recording right before this game, so we're not going to know the result by the end of this episode. But what are you guys' thoughts on the lineup, Christian?
So taking a look at the lineup, I don't know why the back four is the same.
Right.
I have I mean, Anthony Robinson, I'm actually okay with him staying on the left-hand side, but why is Chris Richards still in the middle? I am beyond baffled at that.
Yeah.
Brazil's going to see that lineup. They're going to see the back line, and they are going to pounce because Brazil's strength is actually, ironically, the U.S.'s strength as well, the wings.
Yeah.
And Brazil, arguably, like, we love Messi, greatest player of all time, but best player in the world right now, or best performing player in the world right now, arguably Vinicius Jr. He is performing at a Ballon d'Or level this year, arguably. Arguably.
Mbappe might have a discussion with that.
Mbappe can suck it. He's not that good.
He's gonna get in second anyways.
Yeah, and I said it here. Mbappe is another Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Okay.
All right. No argument from me.
But that being said, I don't have a lot of confidence in this U.S. lineup. The Ricardo Pepi up front, fine. I actually like Musa in the middle. I do like him in the middle there. Brazil wins 3-1.
3-1. And
Greg Berhalter gets fired after this Copa America.
Before I'm going after Copa America, he gets fired.
That's what I said.
That's what he just said.
Oh, I thought he said after this game.
But no, but this Brazil game will be the nail in the coffin, no matter how well the U.S. does.
Yeah, exactly. For me, obviously it's that back line, because that back line was not doing it against Colombia. In this game, they're going to get walked all over with Vinny and Rodrigo. But I think the biggest scratch of the head is probably Balogun. Balogun not starting, because I feel like he needs more experience up top with Pulisic going into a big tournament like this. Another kind of scratch of the head why he's not starting is Tyler Adams. That's kind of like what's going on. Like the dude is a solid player.
Chris Richards.
Yeah. It's like, what the dude is a solid attacking player that the US needs. Play him.
All right. Well,
but Berhalter's too afraid, it seems like.
I'll leave you guys with this thought on my opinion of this lineup. I think Johnny should have been playing instead of Musa, only because of my strategy is if the player is playing in or played in the league where these players are from, he might know a thing or two. Pepi, I think, is going to be a flop. I think he is a flop. I think in Europe, sure, he's having success, but he's also playing in not one of the top 5 leagues in Europe. So hence why he has success. I do think Balogun should be playing. I think the way that Brazil is going to destroy this U.S. team is down the middle. Christian, you did mention they have strong wings, but I think the weakness of the U.S. is obviously the middle.
Oh, 100%.
And Vinicius, Rafinha, and Rodrigo are just gonna collapse. They're just gonna collapse in. So, and with Paqueta and Gomes on the wings crossing it in, they're done for.
Yeah,
so in my opinion, I think it's a win if the U.S. just gets a goal, just in general.
I wouldn't say that's not my win. I think my win for the U.S. would be if they can tie this team, this Brazil team. But that's saying because of how much experience South American teams have, I don't think Brazil is going to go 100% all out because they have the tournament coming up. Whereas our mentality is we have to win this game, and every game we have to win.
Because we saw in the last game, I think it was like the first 10 minutes of that second half. Colombia was kind of like flipped the switch. They're like, okay, we're going to be very mellow. And then US was just very dominant. We scored a goal. So Colombia's like, okay, you guys want to fight? We'll score a couple more goals.
Click.
Well, and that
So-
backline, the U.S. backline just collapsed.
Bad passes, bad giveaways.
Bad passes, bad giveaways. Chris Richards, why are you starting?
I have a feeling you have something against Chris Richards.
His performance was abysmal. I don't even think he's starting at Crystal Palace.
And what's funny is a couple months back, because obviously our owner for Real Salt Lake, Blitzer, he owns Crystal Palace. I was like, oh, Chris Richards, great guy. RSL should go after. I'm changing that. I don't want Chris Richards anymore.
No, we
Nope,
don't want you. Oh shoot, guys, let's end this U.S. talk because we have a lot of opinions. But
yeah.
shoot, there's a reason why we call ourselves the RSL Bros. Let's get back to RSL. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we have a game on
I think
Saturday.
they're a great team.
They are.
Rumor has it they're first in the West.
It's a pretty good rumor. Marcos, bring us into this game against Montreal.
Yeah, so it's our second time going to Canada this season.
Oh, Canada.
Thank you. And Montreal is going to be without 3 players, obviously because of international duty, all 3 of them for Copa America. They're going to be without Choinier, who is with Canada, Lassiter with Costa Rica, and Piet, also with Canada.
Huh. Well, according to FODMOB, apparently they're going to be out without Joseph Martinez, too, with an injury.
And Apoku.
All of them are essential players for Montreal.
So Montreal only has 1 healthy striker.
Only one out of their whole roster?
Out of their whole roster, they only have 1 healthy striker.
Well, yep, Ibrahim. Time to bring someone up from Montreal Impact too.
Yeah, so there will be a lot of call-up players because of obviously players in Copa America, players who are injured. So,
all right. So that's enough about them because obviously we're not Montreal guys, so we don't know much about them. But what about us? Christian, what can you tell about us? Do we have anyone that is not going to be starting?
No.
That you know of?
No, I mean we are down Michael Chang right now, who's a decent backup playmaker. He's out until July, it looks like, with an ankle injury, but
okay.
I would expect a lot of the same from us.
So, yesterday, Pablo was on with Spence, and he mentioned that we're down 4 center backs. He said, right? What is that? What I heard? It was something like that.
Silva, Holtz.
Well, and that's what I was trying to figure out. Who was I writing with? Who were you writing with? Someone had mentioned that that Glad might have picked up something. If I look at the Salt Lake Till I Die Facebook group, you guys check that out. So let me take a quick read on that comment. So the question was, what center backs is he referring to? Speaking of the Pablo quote that we put out, obviously Silva, but who are the other 2? And so I'm like Holt and another one. So I guess he mentioned that there are 3. And then someone said it looks like Glad is out for Montreal, and so someone was like, "Where did you find that out?" So someone says that maybe Glad might be out against Montreal. If that's the case, who do we put in alongside Vera?
Oof. The only one the only other center back, it's Quinton. So it'd be a Quinton Vera pair.
Okay, and if that's the case, I guess, what's the rest of our lineup look like? Are we just normal at this point?
Yeah, we'll have Crooks will be back because he wasn't available for the Austin game. So everybody should be fully healthy. Obviously, Glad if he is not healthy, but everybody should be healthy. They're back from their vacation. Gozo and Beavers are back from their stint against Argentina. So healthy squad going into this.
Okay, so we would have Catranis on the left, Brody, I'm assuming, on the right. Unless you guys think maybe Hidalgo starts.
I would go Brody just in case Hidalgo
I'd
is
go
in
Brody.
100.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. So then we'd have Luna Gomez, Brooks in the middle with what you call it? Look, I can't remember our most famous guy's name on this freaking podcast. What is my problem? This is a fail.
Oh man,
I know his name now. I just
he's
yelled.
leading the team in the league in goals. He's gonna probably be MVP.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising.
Knock on wood.
Interesting. Knock on wood. Anyways, Chicho. And then we have Ojeda and Anelli as the defensive mids. Does that sound good to you guys?
That's a
Sounds
solid.
great.
I mean,
I think what this RSL team has proven is that we have a go-to lineup, but if we need to adjust, which we've needed to do, we can.
Yeah. This is gonna be one of those games, like I said, with Montreal having so many players gone, injuries as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe going like a back five, because they have no players to go up there for an attack. They're gonna literally be relying on Ibrahim, who he has, I think, what is it, 3 goals this season?
I think so.
Ibrahim is up to 5 goals.
The leading goal scorer for Montreal. So yeah, I see them maybe going like a back five, because they'll be kind of satisfied with a 0-0, 1-1 draw at home.
Yeah, that might be that actually makes sense because Ibrahim is listed as the one with the most shots on target per match for Montreal with 1.5. Oh, can you imagine 1 shot on target the whole game?
Yeah, for RSL's backline, that's the only player to really keep an eye on for Montreal.
And there's 4 of us in the back line, so I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Well then let's do a prediction time for this one. What do you guys think?
Let's do it.
Okay, Marcos, give us your prediction.
Yeah, so 2 weeks, we're finally back. RSL playing in Canada. Montreal's gonna be without a lot of players because of international, because of injuries. So we have the upper hand here in this one. So I'm gonna go a 2-0 win for RSL. Keep that unbeaten streak, that kind of winning streak alive.
That's like your old faithful 2-0 solid. Christian.
2-0.
There we go.
Honestly, I'm thinking Chicho's hungry for goals. Luna's gonna come out with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. He's gonna be like, I'm rested, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go. So I'm expecting RSL again, same high octane pressure from before. I think it was smart for Pablo to limit their rest days to keep the team going. 3-0 RSL.
Nice.
I like
That's solid. That's solid. You guys have said it all. So I think this is going to be, like you said, Christian, high octane. The press, our press is going to break them down like easily. And so I think this one's going to be, I'll give the benefit of the doubt with a slight error. I'll give it a 3-1 victory to RSL. Just because sometimes you have breakdowns. So this one should be very simple.
I think Beavers starts in goal.
Oh,
actually, I wouldn't be surprised on that one. That one, I would not be surprised.
Interesting. Now, would you guys see Gozo on the bench?
No, actually, no. I take that back. We would possibly, if we've been seeing Yakusin on the bench, I would not be surprised if we see Gozo.
I would take Yakusin off and put Gozo on the bench.
Agreed.
Well, Christian, take us into the following game for RSL. We're going to be at Sporting the next Wednesday.
That's going to be a much tougher match.
You think so?
I do think so. It's a rivalry game. Johnny Russell somehow always finds a way to score against RSL. And I'm going to hold him down and shave his beard off. And they're not really missing anybody. They're just obviously they've been having a rough go of it. They lost. I mean, they just recently beat Seattle, but they had lost 3 in a row to Portland, Vancouver, and then Minnesota. But Minnesota, we know, is solid. They have turned into the dark horse this season. That being said, it's a rivalry match. Kansas City is a tough place to play. It's a tough place and a lot of bad memories for us there. So,
yeah,
it's gonna be a tough one. I do see RSL winning, but it'd be like a 2-1 win.
Okay.
Very scrappy, very emotional, lots of cards.
Lots of cards, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll have to see who the referee is, but maybe. Marcos.
Yeah, so out of all the MLS teams, Kansas City is the only MLS team that didn't have any players go for international duty. Obviously, RSL only had two, but they're back. So that's kind of in their favor. So they have everybody that stayed, got training. So, like Christian, I kind of see this in a sense as a trap game because they have Polito, they have Johnny Russell, they have Salawi. Like, yes, they're kind of bottom of the table, but Kansas City is kind of a second half of the season team. We saw what they did. They kind of flipped the switch second half of the season last year. Obviously, they beat St. Louis, knocked them off. But yeah, this game kind of worries me, especially with it being a midweek game because we have midweek and then that Saturday we play LA Galaxy. So we could see two different lineups for RSL in this one.
And good thing you mentioned that because I was going to mention the same thing because last time we played against Kansas City, we won 1-0, but it was right before our Open Cup game, and I wonder if that had any effect mentally in us because we knew we were going to play another game in 3-4 days.
Yeah,
I wonder if not only this game will affect us because we are coming off a game, but we also have probably the most important game of the season so far in that following one against LA. I worry a lot. So I think you're right in the sense that we might actually just see some lineup changes in preparation for the Galaxy. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's a good guess. If I were to if I were Pablo Mastroeni making a lineup change, I would actually go back to that hyper offensive lineup that we had when we were making rotations during that 5-game in a row period that we had, just back to back to back games. We had that one, I forget which game it was, but we had Julio and Nelson, and it was just a very hyper offensive lineup.
The Seattle game, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think it was the Seattle game, and the team worked well, and it was a lot of good high energy Colombian based soccer that ended up benefiting us and rested some key players for the next game, which helped out a lot as well. So I could see a similar type of hyper offensive rotation for the Kansas game so that make sure we go in, we score a bunch of goals, we kind of put them to bed for the season, and then we can go into Galaxy with more momentum and fire in our eyes.
I hope that we get enough rest or we got enough rest during this time and definitely our minds are focused because having another string of 3 games in 7 days is no fun.
It's brutal. It's brutal. I could see just maybe bench players starting, and then if necessary, bring in Chicho, bring in Gomez, if desperate. But in worst case scenario, I think Pablo and his staff would be satisfied with a draw in a tough environment, having their heads up going back home against Galaxy, which is a more important game.
Yeah,
I think the important thing is that we don't lose our mentality. Like
Exactly.
because obviously we didn't lose it against Dallas, we didn't lose it against Seattle, where we were down in both those games. I hope that we don't go down in either game, obviously
No.
coming up. I see, though, if we were to take a probability, if we were to take any kind of probability out of any of these games, I think we're most likely to go down against Kansas City than Montreal. But the likelihood of going down, I don't think is very high. But there's still that worry because of the 3 games in 7 days. So, let's throw a prediction time out for this one. Let's see. Marcos, did you go first last time? Yeah, Christian.
So again, Kansas City, 2-1. I think again, it's a tough place to play no matter who you are, no matter how well Kansas is doing. It's a rivalry game. Very emotional. 2-1, like I said, lots of cards.
Okay. Marcos.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one playing on the road midweek game. So we'll probably see some bench players starting, which will be different than usual. So I'm gonna go a 1-1 draw.
Darn you to heck. All right. Well, fine. I'm gonna take all that into consideration. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one midweek, but in preparation for LA, I think we're just gonna keep it simple, but keep it positive it's going to be a 1-0 win for RSL. So simple, but we're going to still get the results. How about that? By the way, guys, US Brazil kicked off. So
I don't have it on the screen next to me.
I don't. I'm not.
Ooh.
No
Sorry.
way.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Wrong
in
side
minute-
of the bar.
I'm on minute 502, 503. Yep. Oh.
I'm on FOTMob 525.
I'm waiting for the gold notification. Anyways, guys, this was a. I'm gonna make sure we.
Sorry to the blind viewers.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like,
you guys, soccer starts. Euros start Friday. MLS is back on Saturday. So this is gonna be a good weekend. So
what a beautiful time to be alive.
Yeah, we got Euros starting Friday. Euros on Saturday morning. Going into MLS in the evening. RSL kicking off 5:30. MLS season pass. So make sure you guys are tuning in. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter if you guys are not already. For all of our fun MLS RSL content, listen to us on the go on Spotify and Apple, and give us a 5-star. 5-star all the way.
And if you see us at the games or at any of the watch parties, feel free to say hi. And
we got new stickers.
Stickers.
We have new stickers.
We got new stickers there. They're beautiful.
I know Marcus is going to go to Kaye, so if you guys see Marcus at Kaye, grab a sticker from him. If
he's
Christian
the blonde
goes,
one.
Yeah, he's the blonde one. If Christian goes, slap on the back of the head. Violence is not the answer. I understand.
Violence is not the answer.
Perfect. You guys, Alan and all the other RSL dads out there, have a great Father's Day. We will catch you guys
Happy
next
Father's
week.
Day.
Happy Father's Day, Alan.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you guys next week.
Okay, ciao.
Ciao.